Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church, and I'm here today to continue our conversation, the book of Leviticus. Today I want to look at the 19th chapter. There's a passage in here that talks about a specific activity, but it also talks about life. So let's take a look at Leviticus 19 and verses 9 and 10. It says, "When you harvest the crops of your land, do not harvest the grain along the edges of your fields, and do not pick up what the harvesters drop. It is the same with your grape crop. Do not strip every last bunch of grapes from the vines, and do not pick up the grapes that fall to the ground. Leave them for the poor and the foreigners living among you. I am the Lord, your God." Okay, the words given here kind of don't make sense in terms of harvesting the crop. Now, we don't grow grapes much around here. Occasional grape patch, but not huge numbers. We don't grow a lot of grain that people could directly eat. So let's look at it in terms of a garden. Here's how it would read if this passage were talking about a garden. When you go through and pick your tomatoes, don't pick all of them. Leave some of them for the poor to come by and get. And if you drop some on the ground, well, just leave them there. Let somebody else take them. And when you're harvesting your sweet corn, don't pick all of it. Leave some of it for the poor and for the stranger who just walks through. Now, when I talk about it that way, excuse me, it sounds kind of strange. First off, I don't know that I want strangers walking through my garden. Um, I grow it for my family, not for anybody who happens to walk by. And particularly, I don't know how good they're going to take care of things and not just stomp all over the other stuff. The other thing it is that, I plant maybe not based on how much I think I'll need, but I plant because I want to get a bunch. And to intentionally leave it for somebody else. Now, that's different than me harvest it, take it to somebody that I want to take it to. No, this is leave it there for some poor person or stranger that I may not even know to come waltzing through the garden and take what they want. See how strange that sounds? Well, it would have sounded the same way to the Hebrews who heard this the first time. And it does seem kind of strange that God puts as a command, a law, to do this. Now, why would he do that? Well, I think I have some of the answer. I don't know that I have the whole answer. First off, God is concerned about everybody, not just you or me, not just with the ones who have a lot. He's concerned with those who don't have very much. He's particularly concerned of what's called the foreigner and the stranger, which is really sad compared to the rhetoric we listen to today that doesn't seem to have much compassion for those folks. So he really does think about everybody, you, me, people that don't walk with him, the people that curse him, the people that you think the less of. Now, I know you're a pretty nice person, but that doesn't mean that you think equally about everybody, though we should. So one of the reasons is God is concerned about everybody. But I think a more important reason is called selfishness. God knows that being selfish is part of our innate sin. We have a tendency, if you will, to think about ourselves first and maybe only. But yet, throughout Leviticus and throughout the words of Jesus, he's always talking about taking care of your neighbor. Who's your neighbor? Well, everybody around you, even those that you dislike the most. God is still concerned about them. And he knows that our tendency towards being selfish would exclude people. Many, many religions exclude people. The very nature of the religion is to exclude somebody. The very nature of God is to include everybody. And here he's talking about something very personal, something very specific, something that you and I can identify with if we get away from the grains and the grape specifics here. And that is the selfishness that wants to put me first and wants to make sure that I get what I want and not have to think about those who don't. You know, the poor, the stranger, the one whose life isn't together very well, they really want the same things you and I do. Life, happiness, family, friendships. They want to live the same kind of life that most of us do, fairly well insulated from problems and difficulties. But yet God is trying to teach us that we are not the most important person in the world. Oh, don't misunderstand. He's not saying we're not important because we are, but we're equally important. And we need to live our lives that think about ourselves as one of the crowd, not one of the special group. I know a lot of church folks think they're one of the special groups, but that's not how God looks at it. When you come before God in your daily devotions, do you acknowledge that you have done it all the way you wanted? I don't mean a simple kind of surface thing. Do you really know that you're not perfect, but He wants you to be? And part of being perfect is to care about the poor and the stranger that this verse tells us about. Will you think about that? Hope you have a great day. Hope things are going wonderful for you. If you have a need or a concern, let us know. We'll do whatever we can as fast as we can to help meet your need. And we really mean that. So give us a call if you need to. We'll see what we can do. And in the meantime, thanks for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with some more thoughts from this book of Leviticus.